Boom, guys, listen, we're back. And today, I'm going to be breaking down and talking a little bit about why I don't talk about the military stuff so much. Why do I, who has served 6 years in the military, I've been through special forces training, why do I not talk about this more? Why do I not lean into it? Why do I not sit here and claim that I killed Osama bin Laden like everyone else is supposed to do, right? Why do I not have a cap on, right? I'm starting to grow my beard out now, though. Why do I not sit here and talk about guns and all that stuff? Why do I not do that, right? Because I don't care for it. That's the simple reason, right? But I'm going to get into it. Because a lot of people, they think that, and I wanted to make this video about this, first and foremost, but also about, a lot of people think that military people, for some reason, are all just good people. That if you're in the military, wow, you're such a good person, you're such noble, you're fighting for your country and all that stuff, right? And I want to break both of those things down, right? So first of all, why don't I talk about the military? And I got some crazy stories for you guys too, but I'm not going to reveal them all. I'm just going to, make some points for you. But first of all, I don't talk about my military experience that much. Like, I do some stories here and there. I've done a story of how I almost became commander of the Norwegian army, which was a big, it was a crazy thing, right? It was funny. But to me, right, the military, I always just had fun with it, right? I never did it for any big cause or anything. It was just an interest of mine. And I still miss it, I sincerely do. I miss being out in tent, because you become so used to the simple stuff. You start appreciating stuff so much more when you're out there in this cold, you're waking up at 4 a.m., everything is wet, and you're putting it on, and you're just going to, guard duty and all this stuff out in the middle of nowhere. And, you appreciate stuff, and which, it's nice and all. It's very nice, right? And, maybe I'll do some more stories here and there, right, from my time there. But it's not something that I want to make my whole thing about. I don't want to, be known as that other military guy. And a part of that, because I think that whole military thing is very, very bad at the moment. Because everything is based off all these SEAL Team 6 people, right? And they're telling all these stories about how they're shooting people and blah, blah, blah.
So these guys argued, and I just took the time to just focus and kill as many human beings as I could.
Right, and all this happened, and it's like, there's this fun podcast by Sam Hyde where he talks about, we flooded the compound and we sent in a submarine.
When we went over there to take out Borat, his entire compound, we flooded it with water so that we could run a submarine in the house.
Oh boy, maybe I'll add a clip of that. That is just hilarious. Because I feel like if you're going down a military route, a lot of people they take the tough guy approach to it. It's like, I don't think being in the military doesn't make you tough by default. It doesn't make you a good person by default. And so if I sit here and talk about that, and that people start, I don't want to be glorified as anyone who's been in the military and being a good person just because of that, right? I was there because I had fun. I really enjoyed running around the forest. Of course, I knew the consequences, and I knew trust me, no one knew that better than me, my God, at my level at least. Because, of course, there is a seriousness to it, right? You're doing this in order to prepare for the alarm when that eventually goes, right? And that was always my mindset when I was in the military too, being prepared. And that's a lot of the stuff I wanted to talk to you guys about, because I want to be relatable to you guys. Because me talking about how my rifle was and all this stuff, it doesn't really serve you any purpose, right? Because you're probably not going to do that, right? And so the beauty I find in the military is, I think it's the best area for self-development in the entire world. It's the most ruthless one. And I've drawn so many life lessons from being in there that is what I want to share with you guys. I don't want to share with you how, we got our tank stuck and all this stuff, right? It makes for a fun story, of course, but I'm here to share value with you guys. I'm here to, because seriously, if you guys implement some of the stuff that I'm talking about, I swear to God, your life is going to improve. And that's the reason I'm talking to you guys, because I want you to be better. I want you to, see the beauty of life that I've seen through doing a lot of stuff. And but it's not a given, right? it's not a given that you learn this stuff. But I've been very conscious about everything I learned along the way, and I've taken those lessons I've learned in the military now, and I put them in other areas of my life. I've put them into my athletic efforts, my business efforts, my relationships, everything. I try to do them with structure and with the order, with a lot of the stuff I learned in the military, and it makes my life so much better. And I want you guys to experience the same thing, right? And I think that's a beautiful monologue first of all, almost, and I could probably end the video there. But I wanted to bring this point up too, and maybe I should have made a different video for this, right? But the thing about this is that it's not given that if you're in the military, you're a good person, right? And so I wanted to bring this up because I have a ton of stories about what goes on in the military, about how they protect their own, and I don't blame them. First and foremost, the military, what happens, right? If you get a case on you because you do something bad, the military will do its best to cover it up from the media, right? It will do its best. And the reason for that is because they want to have this image, right? And that is important. It's important for people to look up to it, right? And I respect that. That's how any unit works, right? You always protect the unit. The unit comes first. And when it comes to that, they protect the whole unit, the whole ecosystem, essentially, which is so important. And it's not just like, this is kind of what I want to perhaps make a different video on it too, but for anything you do in life, if you have a business, if you have a relationship, you have to protect the unit. You cannot sit there and just openly talk about and just share the information. You have to protect the unit. If you have a group of friends, you have to do everything in your power to contain that ecosystem, because there's all these intrusions that are coming in, and the media, and all, because there's always going to be friction in any part of your life. And if that is a family unit, if that is a relationship, if that is a friendship unit, if that is a business unit, you have to protect it, and you have to protect it relentlessly, even if that means that you have to cover up some stuff. I swear to God, it's that important, because once these outside influences get a hold of it, it's just going to tear down, like a domino effect on you. Don't do it. And so I respect it. I respect the military for covering stuff up. And but like, there's a lot of stuff that has come out, of course. And I have a lot, one of our battalion commanders, right? He, and this was a story that came out, and I'm not going to reveal anything else that hasn't come out yet, right? Out of respect, of course, because it's a thing that I still love and hold dear to my heart, the military and everything. But one of my battalion commanders, right? He came in, new guy. Everyone was really, really excited about him because he was like, yeah, we're gonna do this and do that, and really good guy. I got to meet him, and he was very interesting, or seemed interesting at least, right? Because military leaders are what they are. He came in with all these things, right? And everyone liked him. And then after some time, right, I think he moved on to different units and stuff. It came out that he had done a lot of, misconduct in terms of sending messages to, girls and women that he was working with that was very inappropriate, right? Asking girls to, join him in the shower and stuff like that, right? And so it's not the best look, right? And that came out in the media, and there was all these women, talking about interviews. And I'm not going to say that the guy was guilty or not, because it's hearsay, right? Essentially, I think that's what hearsay. And to me, it's always innocent until proven guilty. So, and I don't know if there is any evidence, really. I think there were some screenshots, but it is what it is, right? It's not something that occupies my mind, really. It's just something I, want to bring up for you guys. So it's like, even in the highest levels, you have people who are complete degenerates, right? Who are, super disrespectful, right? It doesn't matter what rank you are. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter at all. And so that's just one case, right? But okay, this is probably one of the bigger cases that I really, really didn't like, because just of my values and what I try and represent, right? So maybe I'll bring this up. I don't know. But so we have this guy, right, who's this officer within the Special Forces of the Norwegian Special Forces, right? And they're cleaning their guns, right? They're sitting there after being at the gun range, and they're cleaning their guns, right? And he tries to open his gun, and there's all standing, because usually you stand by this table after you've been at the range, you talk shit and clean the guns, right? And he opens his gun, right, and it goes boom, right? It goes boom. Bullet fires through the wood table and hits the guy in the foot. Okay? So, boom, hits the guy in the foot. And of course, everything happens, and there's a military report, and this is also public, by the way. That's why I'm talking about this. And what happens is that this guy, he gets his medical aid and everything's sorted, right? And his foot is, it's not a big deal. Shot in the foot, right? Who cares? There's worse places to get shot. Not that I know, but I think everyone knows that. But okay, so this guy, he gets his foot shot, right? And he goes to hospital, and they fix his foot, right? And that, becomes an eternal thing in the military. They've solved that through the military police and all this stuff. And everything's solved in there, which is very common, right? Like I said, not all this stuff needs to go out to the public. There's stuff like this, there's a lot more cases like this, but it doesn't need to be, presented to the public. Because like I said, what the ecosystem, but also it doesn't really, it's not anyone else's business, right? Really, it's just between these people. And what happens, right, is that this guy's in hospital, and when you're in hospital, you usually go and visit the person, right? That maybe you're a friend with him, and you go and visit, and you see how they're doing, and that's nice and all. It's always nice, right, to do that. And if you were in the hospital bed, you would have wanted the same. It was nice you're getting visitors and coming to see how you're doing and wishing you the best. And the point here, right, is that this guy who was this guy's, platoon manager or what the fuck, right? He never shows up. He never shows up. The guy who shoots the guy, right, unintentionally through the table, he never shows up in the hospital to even talk to the guy, right? It's so low, right? It's so low. Can you imagine? You shoot one of your teammates in the foot, because that's what they are, right? Aside from rank, fuck that shit, right? Fuck the rank. Who gives a shit, right? You're shooting a guy in the foot. It doesn't matter. If you're a colonel, a general, it does not matter, or a private, right? It doesn't matter if a general shoots a private in the foot. You show up because you're a human being, right? That's what we are all at the end of the day. And this guy doesn't do that. And it just tells me everything, and it tells you everything you didn't know, that there's not just good people in the military. Not everyone is noble. Not everyone has honor. Not everyone has the respect that they, human to human. And it's I swear to God, this happens so often. And so that's one of the reasons too why I don't sit here and talk about the military stories and want you guys to, even remotely, think of me as some, glorify me. Anyway, shape or form, because of the military stuff. Because it doesn't make you a good human by default. It doesn't make you a good human by default, because there's all these people, there's so many other things too, right? It's a shame, right? It's a shame that people are glorifying people because of even going down to some country in the Middle East and just shooting farmers, right? I don't think that's something to be glorified even, right? It's just a shame that, you're glorified for being in the military, right? Not the fact that what you're doing there is, glorified, because there's a lot of people who do really, really heroic stuff, right? Let's look at that, right? That's great. There's people sacrificing themselves. There's people doing, they're taking bullets for others. God bless you. My biggest respect, right? But to think that you're a good human intrinsically because of being in a certain, government institution, you see how it doesn't make sense, right? So that's kind of why I don't talk about this, because I'm not a big fan of that glorification. This was something I was learning too during my special forces training. I spent 1 year there just during training, and the mindset that was printed into us was that we are not better than anyone else because we're here. We're not better than anyone else, and we were told that multiple times, not just through words, but through punishment. It's oh, you're thinking you're too good for this now? Okay, well, now you're gonna do this. Now you're gonna jump in the water, right? You're never better because you're in any situation or area of life. It's all character. It's all character. But what is beautiful, right? Like I said, the military is a really, really great place to go and build that character. If you're willing to observe the lessons and learn the lessons from it, which have taken me a lot of time, right? I didn't come into the military all perfect, looking like all that. I learned the hard way, right? I was cocky, I was arrogant. But then I learned from that. It's okay, this doesn't work, right? I'm conscious enough. I have a high enough emotional intelligence to understand how people react and respond, and that's the thing, right? I really think it's a really great area to improve yourself, and some people decide to do that, and some people don't. That's the honest and brutal facts about it. And there's bad people and there's good people. in any area of life. There's bad entrepreneurs, like there are entrepreneurs who are bad persons. They're good persons. There's athletes that are horrible people. There's good people, athletes. It doesn't matter like what you've accomplished in terms of your character, who you are as a person. And so that's something I'm very conscious of because I know a lot of people in different areas of life, and I know that it doesn't make you good by default. And it's very important to realize this about the military too, because that's, like I said, some of the reason why I don't talk about it like in that sense, because I talked about the lessons, right? And I talked about the lesson, like I said, to improve your life. But when it comes to like being a good person, you need to develop that separately. But take the lessons with you, right? Of course, but it's not implicit with the fact that you were a soldier or not, regardless of how long you were there or how long you were not there, or how short of a period you spent in the military. There's good people who spent a year in the military, half a year, and there's bad people who spent 50. It doesn't make a difference, right? Because it's all about the character and what you build from that. And so that's the biggest point I want to give you guys. Like, there's a ton of cases here. Like, I know about worse cases too, right? And that's not something I'm going to share. And that's just simply out of respect, because this stuff happens. This type of stuff doesn't just happen in the military. It happens in businesses all over the world. It happens in relationships all over the world. This stuff, but it's not supposed to be talked about like publicly all the time. But it's just what should be known publicly is that regardless of where you are in life right now, your situation doesn't determine your character. What your experience doesn't determine your character. It's current actions. It's what you live up to every single day. And that's what's so important about this. Because if we can extract the right lessons and the right values from our experiences, we can end up with a really, really higher quality of life in terms of what we decide to do on a daily basis to ourselves, to other people that we care about, and to the world. And if we can do that, then we're one step closer to not just that, of course, the realization of it, but also making the world a better place. So with that, I just wanted to say that, and I hope you guys enjoy that. If you have any questions about it, just pop it in the comments below. Appreciate you guys for watching, and more military stuff to come soon, right? Maybe I'll do some challenges, maybe I'll give you guys some more life lessons, like I usually do. A lot of stuff I learned in the military about life and attitude and character and building yourself up. So yeah, take care, zoom, 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 and God bless. Boom!